The Potin des Peupliers. One could easily read these novellas as a three-part love song to a Paris that no longer exists, or that most people's eyes do not see. Despite the action's contemporary setting and the frequent references to bright sunlight, we find ourselves plunged into the atmosphere of Marcel Carné's fog-drenched films, Edith Piaf's smoky laments, and Brassai's nocturnal photographs. And, fittingly as well, the geography is more often than not the working-class neighborhoods of the city's northern quarters, or Saint-Germain-des-Prés, before it became overrun with tourists and new money. The periphery, the zone, the no-man's land where people stay just outside the law to get by, this is the territory of these novellas. Few French writers have evoked Paris with as much fondness and nostalgia as Modiano. Baudelaire comes to mind, glowering with disapproval at the newly Haussmannized boulevards as he memorializes the swarming city filled with dreams, for while the cityscape is quick to change, less so the human heart. So does Aragon, the Paris peasant, conserving the gallerias of the second arrondissement and their alluring defunct storefronts. Modiano's fictions offer a connoisseur's excavation of the capital, a romance of lost itineraries such as his detailed recreation in Flowers of Ruin of Urbain and Giselle T's possible routes from Paris to the suburban town of Le Perreux, or the lists. How these books do love lists, of the sites on which the Janssen of Afterimage trained his camera, or the resurrection in suspended sentences of the ill-defined zone where Neuilly, Levallois, and Paris all blended together, whose streets were wiped off the map when they built the périphérique, taking with them all their garages and their secrets. Although published separately over a period of 5 years, the novellas in this volume have remarkable coherence, even if that coherence was unintentional. Modiano's comments for a French omnibus edition of his novels applies just as well here. Taken together, he says, those books form a single work. I thought I'd written them discontinuously, in successive bouts of forgetfulness, but often the same faces, the same names, the same places, the same sentences recur from one to the other. The resulting impression is of a self-contained world, in which figures move and evolve but remain fundamentally similar, as if in a less grandiose version of Balzac's Comédie humaine, a less buffoonish Commedia dell'arte, or Wes Anderson's ensemble cast tragicomedies. People reappear at unexpected moments, like those vaguely recognized characters one sees around the neighborhood. Coincidences occur, sometimes remarked upon, sometimes passing unnoticed. It's as if everything in Modiano's books, including the books themselves, were governed by the 6 proverbial degrees of separation. Among the recurrences one will find in these pages, there is the older woman, who shows the pre-adult narrator some rare kindness, Annie in Sentences, the Danish girl in Flowers, only to be snatched away by someone more age-appropriate, often wearing a Glen plaid suit. There is Pacheco, the great enigma, who intersects with the mystery of the T's in Flowers of Ruin, and who also makes a cameo appearance in the novel Honeymoon, 1990. There is the Rue Lauriston gang, known to history as the Carlingues, part band of thieves, part Gestapo auxiliary, whitewashing its actions with a false patina of respectability. There is the black marketeer and collaborationist Edith Pagnon, cryptically associated with Modiano's father. And there is the primal scene of the father's wartime arrest as an undocumented Jew by the French police, his liberation by that same Pagnon before he can be deported to a camp, and in the background, the moral ambiguities of the occupation and the indelible stain they have left on French history. This episode, which reappears with variants in all 3 books, though in Afterimage the father's role is played by Janssen, and in several others besides, is one of 2 central knots in Modiano.